Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season 2 of your favorite Phillies podcast, at least we hope it is, to 11,000 and counting. I am your host, Alec Hostel. To my left is Matthew Watson, and now on YouTube. That's right, now you can catch us not just on Spotify, but also on YouTube as well. Uh, but let's just get straight to the facts. We're not called 11,000 and counting for any old reason. If this is your first podcast, well, welcome. Second off, now I tell you the all-time losing record for your Philadelphia Phillies. Currently, the Phillies will be starting the season at 11,187 losses all time. And we take pride in that here in 11,000 and counting, don't we, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of our claim to fame, if we're being honest. And, we haven't done anything to add to that win or loss total. But you know what? Hey, it's the name of the pod, and I think it's our fun little twist.
Hey man, and we're coming off of a great winning season, appearance in the World Series. You're reigning National League champions. But on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about a couple of losses to the Phillies roster that is painful, and I'm hurting, and I'm sad inside. And somebody start playing some really sad emo music right now, please. If
Yeah, it's the vibes are not it, man.
if you've been under a rock for the last probably now 24 hours, um Rhys Hoskins is probably out for the season with a torn ACL on a just a ball hit right behind the first base bag ish, just awkward step, and it just went. It didn't look as bad as that, but it never really does with non-contact injuries, does it?
It was just so weird because if you watch the playback, like he took such a weird angle on the ball, and like the whole thing was weird. And I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, what is going on? And then I see his leg kind of give out. And I'm like, oh, that was weird. And then he's just laying there and he's grabbing his leg, and I'm like, oh no. Because there's never been a good thing that has ever happened from a player grabbing their leg. Like, even if it's like, you banged it or whatever, like there's never a good thing. It's never a good thing when they grab their leg. And just by his reaction, I could tell that he was in some serious pain. And then, the EMTs come out to cart him off the field. And like that's when it really got serious for me. I'm like, yeah, we're not seeing Reese for the rest of the season because that didn't look good. And then, the news comes out a couple hours ago that it is, in fact, ACL reconstruction surgery that he's going to be getting. And Rhys Hoskins will not be on the 2023 Phillies.
It sure looks like he won't. It would take a minor miracle for him to even appear in one game this year. Um, and that means this is probably the end of Rhys Hoskins on the Phillies. Now, there's a chance the Phillies still re-sign him. He's going to be a pending free agent, and coming off of an ACL tear, maybe there won't be a ton of interest from other teams, and comes back on a team-friendly deal, and huzzah, he's back better than ever. But hey, this could be the last that we've seen of Rhys Hoskins since 2017. Like the first bright spot coming out of the rebuild was Rhys Hoskins. I don't count Aaron Nola as being part of the rebuild. He was drafted in what, 2014? They were still trying to win back then.
Yeah, and he was a what, seventh overall pick. Like,
Yeah, a high first round pick.
like you shouldn't be shocked. Well, maybe in Philly you should be shocked, but
I,
you shouldn't
I
be
think he
shocked
was
if
like,
a top player turns out.
yeah, he was at least a top 15 pick. I can't remember exactly, but um man, it's gonna suck. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of Rhys Hoskins, but even they have to like feel something to realize this guy won't be on the roster and won't even get a shot to show what he got going into free agency. A guy that's really put his heart and soul on his sleeve while he's played with the Phillies, even when he's been injured, being on the bench, cheering on the rest of the team, hitting 30 home runs last year. Of course, the bat spike. I'm chopping over words because I'm genuinely upset. I'm a big Rhys Hoskins supporter. I have been on this podcast, on Twitter. People should know that I'm a Rhys Hoskins defender because those are the first three words that are in my Twitter bio. Uh, it sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks to see a homegrown guy drafted in the 10th round, so not like a guaranteed prospect whatsoever. Or was he seventh round?
Believe he's actually
But
the fifth round.
fifth round, but not in the top three. Um, really make it and be a power hitter, the major league level, finding success. This is a guy who had almost a three WAR season last year. A better than replacement level, but just below all-star level. Yes, you can detract him for his defense, whatever. I don't care, frankly. The last 3 years on the Phillies, he had a 127 OPS plus, the four or 246 batting average, 340 on base percentage, 491 slugging percentage. You know, a quality first baseman. There's a reason why MLB named him the 10th best first baseman in baseball over the offseason, and it just sucks.
I don't know if this is an overreaction or not, but quite frankly, this news is hitting me harder than when Bryce got hit in the face against the Padres. And
You mean in the hand? The
in the
hand was
hand,
against the
yeah,
Padres. He got hit in the face against the Cardinals.
that's right. Yeah. Bryce stays getting hit. But
I
yeah,
I
it
keep receipts.
yeah.
I keep receipts. Blake Snell,
Yeah, if I ever see Blake Snell walking down the street, it's on site. But
although I forget the reliever for the Cardinals who hit him.
Genesis Cabrera.
That's right,
Yeah.
Genesis Cabrera.
Yep. Uh
Anyway, I don't
but yeah,
actually.
it was just like the way like the last year when Bryce gets hurt, you can almost just say, well, there's the Phillies' luck, you know. N nothing ever goes our way, and you could have been like very pessimistic about the whole situation, and that could take away from some of the pain that you would have felt. But with Rhys getting hurt here, like this is the first season where we have World Series expectations since 2011. Like I know the last few years we've had playoff expectations, and we finally broke through last year. But this was the first year where we're going into the season thinking we can win the World Series. We have a team that is good enough to compete for a World Series title. And this is just such a huge blow. And it's not like we lost JT. It's not like we lost Wheeler or Nola. It's not like we lost Trey. Rhys, is a little further down the pecking order, but he's still a starting player on a World Series caliber team. Like he's not just a simple, all right, well, next guy up. First base is like the one spot that the Phillies have almost no depth in. Aside from Derek Hall, they don't have anybody who's major league quality that could even like come up from the minors and play. Um, I mean, we could talk about the different options that they're going to have at first base, but in just terms of guys in the Phillies organization who are true first basemen, aside from Derek Hall, there is nobody. And that was one of the biggest, things that I counteracted people who said we should trade Rhys because unless they were getting a first baseman back for him, you weren't you didn't have anybody to replace him. And you're not trading the 10th best first baseman in baseball and getting, the sixth or the seventh. It's just you don't flip first basemen like it's a fifth round pick in the NFL draft. It's not how it works. So it's I mean, they have options and they're gonna be forced to play other guys at first base and then move guys around the lineup, move guys around the field, but it just sucks. Like Reese going down, I just threw $50 the other day on the over on the win total and I felt real confident about it because it's sitting at 88 and a half. I don't feel as confident anymore without Reese personally. It's making me kind of wish I had maybe waited a few days to place that, but you know what?
I do still think this is a 90 win team.
I
I
agree.
I will I will stand packed on that. Um, but this hurts. This hurts. I mean, Reese, I'm sure will be in the dugout all season because I feel like he's that type of guy that he'll want to be there for the team. And I better not see anybody talk anything down on Reese. Again, say what you will, but he's gone. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's it. Like, and I truly do think he'll be back next year just because nobody's going to give him a big deal coming off a torn
No.
ACL. They're going to want to see him play. And it would make more sense for Rhys and for the Phillies to give him a 1 or 2 year deal, a prove it deal, just, to let him kind of get back on his feet kind of thing. And it would benefit both sides, as well as the Phillies are going to have all the medical information on Rhys. They can
Yeah,
monitor it the whole season, so they will know firsthand, how healthy he really is. So I don't think it's the
I'm
end of Rhys
also
Hoskins.
worried. I know, but I'm also worried about how the injury impacts him long term. We've seen guys get injured and then lose power. And if
Hmm.
Reese loses power, man, he is not a great hitter. I mean, he's not even a good hitter. He's not even an average hitter if he doesn't have power. Um, yeah, it's something they'd be able to monitor closely. I don't know, man. He was doing so well in the spring. He was hitting 355, 474, 806 slugging, 4 home runs. He, yeah, man, it hurts.
Yeah.
So, Derek Hall, it's your turn, I guess. So, Derek Hall in 2022, we saw him, let me see, like 150 or 120, 136 at bats, 132, something like that. Not a ton of at bats. But 250 average, 282 on base, not great, but a 522 slugging percentage. So really great there against right-handed pitching. 9 home runs, 121 OPS plus in 41 games. Of course, he's been doing well in spring training. I think he's slowed down a little bit over like the past week. He's hitting 319, 385 on base, 681 slugging, leads the team in home runs during the spring with 5. Um, but when you talk about Derek Hall, you have to mention that he can't hit left-handed pitching. Uh, when I mentioned the right-handed splits, he hit 266 last year, 300 on base percentage, and a 565 slugging. Um, but against lefties, and this is only 12 plate appearances against lefties. But his slash line is 083, 083, 083.
Yeah.
That's 1 for 12 with a single.
I will say this though, looking at his spring training splits, he has done very well against lefties in spring. And obviously it's just spring training. That doesn't mean he's miraculously is going to crush lefties or anything. But against lefties, he is hitting 333 with an OPS 977. Does have a home run, a couple RBIs, 5 hits in total in 15 at bats. So he's shown some progress in that area in spring. But this is also spring training. Like once he's going out there against guys like Max Fried and some of these power lefties that exist
Hmm
in baseball, he is going to struggle.
Although the Phillies have the two best power lefties, so can
That is
pretty
true.
much
It-
guarantee that he doesn't have to face them.
that is very true. So hey, if he shows improvement and he, is quality against lefties, he's just going to earn himself more at bats and he's going to help the Phillies out. Um, I know this has been floated around a ton. Obviously, he's going to start against right-handers. Um,
Yeah, oh
before the
yeah.
before the recent injury, I said he should be the DH against righties every day, but obviously now he's going to need to play first base. So against
hmm
right-handers, he's a lock in at first base. It's when they play lefties is where Rob Thompson's probably going to have to get creative.
Yeah, there's no easy choice here. I looked on the roster. JT is actually worse against lefties. I
Interesting.
didn't expect that. He's about like a 260 batting average compared to a 280 against righties. I was shocked. I
Yeah.
was bamboozled. But yeah, I mean Alec Boehm is another people talk about moving over across the diamond, and against lefties it'd be fine because he does own lefties. He has a 319 career batting average against lefties and hit over 350 last year against lefties. So I'd be fine with that. But the only problem is that's a parallel move. And then you still have to have someone to play third base, probably Edmundo Sosa, who has been looking absolutely fabulous this spring. I don't want to take that away from him. He's hitting 457 during spring in 14 games. That's not a a short time period. With 4 home runs, he's generating power too. I don't know what's going on with Edmundo Sosa, but man, if he develops into an actually better than average everyday hitter, wow, that's one of the best trades. Sending Jojo Romero to the Cardinals. Um, so I looked at free agents. I did, and the pool is sad. Uh, I thought maybe someone like Miguel Sano would make sense against lefties, but the funny thing is, he has no power against lefties. All of his power came against righties, but he was a better average and on base hitter against lefties, which I don't understand that. I looked at this one's gonna hurt. Gary Sanchez.
Oh,
I know, right? And nope, he's a terrible hitter against lefties. So, Matt, I came up with a terrible idea.
I'm a little nervous to find out. I'm not gonna lie.
Like this is I I if you stop listening from this point on, I don't blame you. This guy is currently hitting 130 with a 200 on base percentage and a 174 slugging percentage in spring training. So that's why I think he should be available or even cut by the team he's currently on, which is the Mets. And the player I am talking about is Darren Ruff.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
But let me hear me out here. Hear me out. He was awful last year, right?
Yeah.
Against lefties, he had a 753 OPS with a 322 on base percentage. But and I'm not going back to 2013 or 2014 or what he did in Korea. But after he came back from Korea in 2021 against lefties, he hit 283 with a 414 on base percentage, a 593 slugging percentage. That's an 1,007 OPS. The Phillies could probably just scoop him up. I think the Mets will release him. I'm almost certain that they're going to release him. If they don't, you could probably get him for cash considerations.
I
He'd only play against lefties. Only against lefties. Think about Rhys is gone on the 60-day IL, so it's just you're not cutting anybody.
I can't sign off on that in good conscience. I understand where you're
The
coming
number
from,
the
right?
numbers are there.
Right, from 2021. And then last year he fell off a cliff again, or returned back to earth, I guess you could say.
But was okay against lefties. And think about it, you're falling off a cliff everywhere else, and you could still kind of hit lefties. Coming
Ah,
back to your old team.
that's okay. I would rather give those at bats to Sosa, Harrison, Kingery, and Clemens.
Okay, but can they play first base?
Like, I'm sure Sosa could pull it off,
I'm sure he can too, but we already have him basically as our backup center fielder.
which is a whole
But
nother issue. Honestly, if the Phillies are gonna go acquire somebody at this point, they might want to just get another outfielder so Sosa can focus on the infield.
but who else can play first? I mean, you could put Bohm there, but his defense is probably going to be worse than third, and he's been working so hard to improve that defense. You could play Realmuto there every time that lefties come up, but you're taking away from his defense behind the plate. Maybe Stubbsy can play first,
Mm, no, I mean
but
Cody Clemens has played a few games there in spring. He's been fine. Um,
okay. I didn't know about Cody Clemens.
yeah.
Yep.
So
I guess you could add him on the roster. That'd be fine.
there, I mean but he's a lefty, so and the Phillies need another right-handed bat.
Which
Um,
could be Babe Ruff.
no. I mean, this is the way I kind of was thinking about it. If there's 7 game, let's just say they're playing, 7 games in a week, right?
Yeah.
JT probably catches 5 of those games, gets a
Yep.
day off, and you can put him at first base once a week to
But
just
again,
take the pressure off of his knees. Um, You'd
It'd
obviously
have to
have
be
to.
about righties because his splits, he favors righties.
Well, I mean, with JT, you're gonna play him because it's JT.
Yeah, but he becomes an average hitter against lefties and an average hitter at first base and not prime defense. It's not gonna be on the same level.
Yeah, but I don't think anything's gonna be on the same level at this point. Like,
No, no, you're taking a cut here somewhere.
yeah. And if we're taking a cut, I would be okay with JT taking some pressure off the knees. Um, Plus, we all have talked about him transitioning to first base in a few years anyway. Obviously, I mean, he's going to catch for another good 3 years at least because he's still playing fantastic behind the plate. I don't know. I think you, I kind of want to move Bowman the first against righties or against lefties, but at the same time, just let him develop at third base. He's shown promise, but then it's like, who the hell are you going to stick at first? I don't want to hear anybody say Kyle Schwarber because for the love of God, he's worse than Derek Hall, and Derek Hall
Also,
wasn't better than
lefty
Rhys Hoskins.
splits. Lefty splits.
Right. So I don't know. I
Bring
doubt
back number
Dombrowski's gonna make a
18.
move.
Bring back number 18. Come
I'd rather
on.
I'd rather stick Odubel Herrera at first base than Darren Rupp.
Oh, come on. What did
Oh,
Darren Ruff do to you?
he's just not a very good professional baseball
And
player.
O'Doul? Really? Come
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah. Well, like it's just it's the same level for me. At least Ruff is a better human being, but I
At
mean,
least you said that. At least you said
I
that.
mean, you know, but
Come on, this is a home run king of Korea we're talking about here.
yeah. I mean, Didi played first base for the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic. I'd rather call him to play first base.
Lefty hitter.
That's a good point. I don't know, man. This is all just a mess. It's what it
Albert
is.
Pujols, if you somehow listen to this podcast, which would be some miracle upon itself, do you want to come on out of retirement and only face left-handed pitching? Because we'll do that for you.
Frank Thomas, you want to come off the Fox Sports desk and come get some ABs?
Jim Tomey, what you doing, boo-boo?
Literally. This is so. I mean, honestly though, there are there's probably going to be a decent crop of first basemen that get moved at the deadline. Like I'm thinking,
There's got to be somebody at like the AAA level that's just blocked by other teams that isn't a major prospect, that is like basically the inverse of Derek Hall. That has to be somewhere.
I haven't looked at any of his numbers, but Jesus Aguilar is with the Athletics. He's had
Ah,
some success at Citizens Bank Park. He's a righty. He can play first base, and he's a great vibes guy. Like Aguilar is one of those guys you love to have in your clubhouse because it looks like he's always having fun. The A's are not going to be competitive, so I mean, Jesus Aguilar could be a decent fill-in at maybe at the trade deadline, maybe before that. You wouldn't have to send literally anything to the A's other than
yeah,
just a
but
low-level prospect.
he's a similar problem with like Miguel Sano. Slightly better batting average, much better on base percentage against lefties, but a worse slugging percentage. But I mean that would be fine. I'd be fine with that. Um, what's Justin Bour doing?
Uh,
Bring Carlos Santana from the Pirates. He's on the
I said
Pirates,
G-Man
right?
Choi. Let's get Joey Votto out of Cincinnati, put him on a winner.
Oh, that's a hot take. I'd love that Canadian. Well, oh, the best Canadian hitter in the majors with the best Canadian manager.
It's a connection waiting to happen. Who's another
Yeah.
bad team that we could poach somebody off of?
Oh,
Who do the Tigers have other than Miguel Cabrera?
I don't think anybody. Yeah. Matt Vierlich,
Yeah,
come on
Spencer
back.
Torkelson if they give up on him.
Oh no, that would be. I don't know, man.
Go get Andrew Vaughn from the White Sox.
Ah, I really don't know. Jake Berger.
Yeah, like this is it's just a mess. But hey,
Yeah, we don't have any good answers here.
literally I feel like the Phillies might have an open tryout next week because that's just kind of where we're at. I mean, there
I,
are options, but none of them are great.
I mean, I'd love to see that only for the fact that some dude named Johnny Stromboli would probably come from like South Philly or the Jersey Shore and just decide to show off what he could do in high school.
I mean, I might go try out, honestly. I hit a double last weekend. Does that count for anything?
It might. Can he hit more than one?
We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they'll give you a chance. You're a right-handed hitter?
I am a right-handed hitter.
Okay,
And
you're
I
in.
own a first baseman. So, we're
Oh
halfway
my
there.
God, you're already halfway there.
We are halfway there. And I like to wear my socks up high like Rhys. So, you might not notice a difference defensively.
You're so in.
I'm
You're
in.
so in.
Sign me.
I
Veteran
mean,
minimum.
there's one other guy, maybe Mark Vientos. It's a Mets prospect that he's blocked behind Brett Beatty at third.
Mm,
Maybe he can play first.
I doubt the Mets
I
would want to
don't.
give him to us.
Yeah, no, they'd give Darren Ruff to us. Okay, moving on. I get it.
Just crickets.
Can't get any love for Darren Ruff. Anyway, on a lighter note, another injury. Ranger Suarez had a setback and now won't play or won't be in the rotation for opening day. So that's great, which means Michael Plasmeyer, congratulations. By default, you were probably the Phillies five starter. In spring, he's been all right. 11 innings pitched, one earned run, but he's walked a lot of dudes. Eight to be exact. Um, I think that mostly came in early against the Yankees, but I
What
don't
a,
know.
what another fall from grace. We're sitting here talking about a battle for the fifth starter position, and it literally turns out it's just a survival of the fittest. It's not even the best man won the job.
Oh yeah,
Painter
because
goes
Falter is
down.
now the fourth starter.
Yeah, I mean, Falter gets bumped. Plasmeyer is basically by default going to get the spot. Christopher Sanchez is down. Nick Nelson is down. Andrew Painter is down. They demoted Abel. They demoted Griff McGarry, who Griff did not look good in that one inning. The one inning he had. Abel looks pretty good the other day against the Braves, which does give me a little hope that if we do still have some issues with starting pitching, that he could be called up a little quick in the event that we need him. Um, but yeah, congratulations, Michael Plasmeyer, for just being there.
Congratulations. At
Which,
least he's a lefty.
yeah, he's not the worst option, right? Like he is in my opinion, a serviceable spot starter, and it's not like Ranger is gonna miss significant time or anything. It's just,
Oh no, he'll probably just be he won't be around for like 2 weeks.
and
It'll
he's got to
kind
just
of
get
be
built
like
back up. So
yeah, it'll kind of be like Wheeler last year, except Wheeler didn't pitch any spring training. At least Ranger pitched some. They also mentioned that Matt Strom will probably be stretched out to be a multi-inning reliever, and he's had a good spring as well. 7 and a third innings pitched. Uh, let's see, one earned run and was on a solo shot. So he's been all right, and he struck out eight over that span. So that's something.
it's something. This is just
It sure
what
is something.
what a way to kick off season two of 11,000 and counting. Because the title should just be, well, that's something. Because the vibes were so good like about 24 hours ago. I was so excited for the season to start, and I was just saying I need spring training to be over. I'm kind of tired of these games. Let's play for real. And now the vibes are just so low.
Again, I still have high hopes for the season, but man, do I just feel dejected.
Yeah, it's not great. Although I think this puts if we're tracking who's starting, it's gonna go Nola, Wheeler, and Taiwan Walker against Texas. And then you go Falter, and then you either do Plasmeyer or you go Wheeler because there'll be the day off, so it'll be 5 days.
Right, and you
Um,
probably do go with that option.
yeah, because I don't think they want to. I mean, they don't want to press Wheeler's innings, but I also don't think that Michael Plasmeyer starting is a great option either.
But yeah, I just do it. Just do it at this point. Let's
Yeah.
look at that Phillies schedule real quick. Because let's see how many days off they have in between here that they could manipulate the
Well, I know they have
schedule
that
a little
one day
bit.
off that they always add in for opening day just in case of rain and stuff. But there's a stretch in April where they play like 16 games in a row.
Yeah, so we're talking about the fifth game of the year against the Yankees. That would be Wheeler, and then you'd have to go Plasmeyer the next day, wouldn't you?
I mean, no, or well, it'd be
Yeah, because the day off is the day after opening day.
well. Actually, I think Nola's starting opening day. So it wouldn't be Wheeler
Oh,
there.
is
It'd be
he?
Nola. Yeah, and then Wheeler,
Oh,
I guess, would be the following day on 5 days rest. Um,
no. Yeah, but think about it. He pitches Saturday the 1st. Nola's actually pitching on the Thursday. So he could pitch.
that's a good point. Yeah,
So Plasmeyer is going to face the Yankees,
great.
which he walked a bunch of guys against. Oh, no, we're going to get absolutely destroyed against the Yankees. I mean, then we face the Reds, the Marlins. There's another off day that Friday,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
I
don't think
guess
that helps.
Wheeler will start the home opener then.
Oh, against the Reds?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because then you have the day off. You go Tywin Walker, Bailey Falter, and then by
Back
then
to Nola.
back to Nola. So you can theoretically skip
And then you could go, you'd be able to skip
at least
Plasmeyer
one
in that
Plasmeyer start.
time. And by then you're in the middle of April, and then Ranger
Should be
should
back.
be conceivably back. Listen, folks, this is not a positive podcast today. That's not what we're here for. We'll hype up the team next week, right before opening day. But right now we just gotta sulk a little bit and try to jumble through our minds what we're gonna do, even though we're not GMs, we're not the manager, we're just some guys. Right,
We
Matt?
are. We are some guys. Well, although you are listening to the future Phillies first baseman right now.
Oh,
Dave
that's right.
Dombrowski
I'm
just
so
hit my
sorry.
line. Yeah.
I'm
So
so sorry.
I would be number 91, I think, is a jersey that's available. So buy my jersey from the pro shop, Citizens Bank. Looking at this first
Any
month
any
though,
uh, any significance between that number 91 there?
it's just the number that I thought of because Trey Turner has my number 7. So then I
Mine's
said,
27, which is
hey, so that's a
Nola.
solid number. Um,
Yeah,
but I figure 91 is definitely available and it's cool because it just is. So
that's fair. That's
I
fair.
just made that decision. I wore 66 one time in high school, so that could be a
How
number, I guess.
how'd they even give you 66? They had a 66 laying around?
I'm a smaller fella, so they had not too many in those sizes, and 66 just so happened to be a number that they had, and that is the jersey that I wore. So yeah, shout out.
Every time you played, you gave them hell, right? I assume
Yeah,
they put you in the sixth spot or
I
starting.
actually I batted third that year for a few games. That was my last year playing, and I got intentionally walked in a game once. And this is a JV high school game. I got
Wild.
intentionally walked to face the next batter in the last inning because I think I was like 2 for 3 on the day. Only time in my life I've ever been intentionally walked, and when I felt so disrespected that I bat flipped and yelled to the opposing coach. I said, "You can't handle 66." That's a true story. So, you know,
Beautiful.
and then I like quit the team 2 weeks later. So you know what? Hey, that was a defining moment in my career, and we're gonna pick things back off against the Rangers when I start on opening day. But
Nice. But
yeah,
what else is there even talk about today? Is there
hon
anything positive?
honestly, at this rate, I think today is just a day of mourning. We'll pick
Okay.
things back up to
Trey Turner homer
tomorrow.
today, folks.
Trey
If you're
Turner
listening to
is
this,
a hero, an
Trey
American hero.
Turner is an American hero. He had 5 home runs in the World Baseball Classics. And that is the only positive I have for you. I think we're done here, which
Yeah.
is a shame.
It's such a deflating way to start the season. Such a deflating way to start season 2 of the podcast. But you know what? The bar is low, right? So we can only go up from here.
Oh
Ne
yeah, and next
next
time,
week's
guess how
opening
many
day,
losses we'll still be at?
0.
No,
And then, well,
11,187.
well,
Matt, you don't follow the program.
well, I meant, 0 additional losses. Although,
Uh,
the vibes could be really, really bad if they lose on opening day. Like, I can already see the season is over takes coming out from Phillies Twitter. But you know what? Next week's gonna be a lot better of a podcast. We're gonna be upbeat. We have opening day coming up. The season's starting,
yep, we'll give
and
you a good preview,
exactly,
breakdown, assuming Jacob deGrom is starting.
he's definitely starting.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was injured or not.
Not yet. I'm sure like an hour
Not
before
yet.
the game starts, he's gonna like hurt his pinky finger and be out for 6 months. But
TikTok DeGrom.
literally,
TikTok.
I mean, I'm sure he'll pitch 4 strong innings, and the Phillies will look awful, and then he'll come out, and the Phillies will rally against the Rangers bullpen, and they're gonna win that game 7-3.
That is bold prediction, and we'll keep my prediction for next week. But so we end this negativity. I'm Alec Costello. That's Matthew Watson as always. And next week we promise to be upbeat.
Yeah, tune in for next week's episode, and I guarantee you're gonna be hyped about the Phils.
Absolutely.